Hey everyone, if you have been taking our budget challenge, which we introduced a few weeks ago, you may be very surprised at how much money you've been spending in the food category, just like we were. We understand completely how you feel. Stay tuned because in this video, I'm going to share 5 practical ways that you can possibly reduce some of the money in your food budget and maybe be a little bit healthier. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Tam Marshall and I'm going to share with you guys some practical ways that I reduce a little bit of the money that we spend in our food category. Now, just keep in mind, I'm not a financial planner. I am just speaking from the heart of a wife and a mom of 3 kids, and some of the experiences that I have used to save money at the grocery store and while eating out. As always, consult with your financial expert beforehand, but these are some pretty simple ways that you can use to reduce the money you spend in your food budget. So, number 1, create a menu. This is something that I started probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I don't know exactly what happened, but the light bulb in my head went off. And I said, you know, if I created a menu, I would be able to organize everything that we're eating, and it just seemed like a really good idea. So I grabbed my planner and I started recording with a pencil what we were going to have in the upcoming week, every night of the week for dinner. I would write down the entree and I wrote down the side vegetables, pretty much anything that your family is going to eat. Record in that menu. Now for you, it may be on a wall calendar or even in your phone, but I like a personal planner where I can write with a pencil and erase and change things around. So that's the first step to do to save money for your food budget. So step number 2 is after you create that menu for the week, then you want to create a grocery list. And when I make a grocery list, I'm pretty old school, so I actually like to write things out. And on the grocery list, I have it broken down by category at the store. So all the dairy I put under the dairy, the produce under the produce, and I just like the visual layout of that. But I find that it keeps me on track at the grocery store and not from buying too many extra things. And ideally, I save time at the grocery store by having a nice detailed grocery list based off of what we're going to eat for that coming week for dinner. Tip number 3 is to try and include vegetarian and vegan options in your dinner menu. And since I do 99.9% of the cooking in my family, I try and strive to make sure we have about 3 vegetarian dinners a week. And a couple of the things that I create would be something like minestrone soup, or I make a Mexican bean casserole dish. I make lentil meatloaf. I also make a shepherd's pie or cream of cheese and broccoli soup. Those are just a couple options of vegetarian meals that my family tends to like. But if you reduce some of the meat that you buy at the store and try and substitute it with lentils and beans, tofu of course, and you have tempeh and things like that, it's going to save you a little bit of money, and also it's going to be of course healthier for you too. So consider substituting some of your meals, meat-based meals, for vegetarian meals if possible. Tip number 4, maximize some of your products, specifically the produce items. So for example, if I buy a bag of celery, I've already written down on my menu that in that week I'm going to make a pot of minestrone soup. And then 3 days later, I may make a chicken casserole dish. And I'm going to use up all the celery before it starts getting white while it's still dark green. I'm going to use that all up, so of course nothing gets wasted. Or if I buy a 5-pound bag of potatoes, I'm going to make maybe like a breakfast casserole dish, kind of like hash browns. And then several days later, I may make mashed potatoes and meatloaf. So you want to try and double dip, I guess, your mainly the produce items to make sure you're getting all of the usage out of them so nothing gets wasted, but also so that you save money, of course. Another example could be to get a large tray of ground turkey, which I do. And out of that one tray, I can make spaghetti, I can make tacos, I can make chili. Maybe within a 9-day span, I can use it kind of like 3 times. Tip number 5, buy a mixture of organic and non-organic food. I was on this pretty big, we only are going to eat organic in this family kick. But then I started noticing how incredibly expensive it was. And even though I want to give my family the best, which means leaving out a lot of the worst, I figured that just to kind of save a little bit of money, I wouldn't get everything organic. I would just kind of get like the bigger items in an organic base, if that makes sense. So a lot of the produce, so berries and apples, for example, they tend to have a lot of pesticides. Those things I try and buy organic, but like other vegetables, maybe like carrots, broccoli, not so much. You may also want to consider trying to limit convenience food. Now I know for some people that may be a big one. By convenience food, I mean like prepared or semi-prepared food. So that would be a lot of your canned goods, a lot of your frozen dinners, a lot of your microwavable meals. And I know it's really quick and easy and filling, but in my family, I just choose not to buy those things because there are tons of extra things in them that I don't want to feed my family that are not healthy. But also they are more costly because essentially you're paying the company to make the food and instead of you making it yourself. So if possible, try and limit those things, and that'll help to save a little bit of money and maybe a little bit healthier for you. So I just shared 5 ways or 5 different strategies that you can implement to save a little bit of money in your food budget as you track your expenses and notice that you want to try and trim costs. Maybe you can try implementing some of these. And hey, if you have suggestions or things you want to share about how you save money in the food category, go for it. Drop it in the chat. I love to hear what you have to say. And thanks so much for tuning in today. We will see you next time.